bye, 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 bye. I'm a genius. Yes, I am. Every stock I buy goes down, heck, except for one, and that's Meta. Every stock I buy is trash, except for Meta. That means I'm a course bro. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance, everybody. We got to talk about Meta, my JETTA. You want to know why? Do I own this stock individually? No, I don't. Do I own this stock through VT, my ET? Yes, I do. Did they just have earnings? Now, Meta Platforms, formerly Facebook, is a very, very, very popular stock in the retail community. And funny enough, it surprises me that that's the case because Meta is profitable and their revenue isn't massively explosive. Okay. Retail likes a profitable stock. Sit down and just sit and think. Stop thinking about everything else. Clear your mind. And then imagine that retail actually likes a profitable stock with good cash flows. Isn't that the most insane thing you've ever heard in your life? That just blows my mind that retail actually likes Meta. But okay, cool. We'll talk about it. So they just had earnings, and the stock is currently $233. Now, this stock crashed massively. Okay, they had a massive collapse brought on by competition with TikTok, with collapsing margins because of the whole metaverse thing, all sorts of garbage. Everything was going bad for this company, and this stock absolutely collapsed. There seemed to be no bottom, right? It collapsed, as a matter of fact, all the way to $90.79. This sell-off in the stock was what I call irrational panic and fear, okay? That happens with some stocks. It's hard to predict. It's hard to time it consistently and make a lot of money off of it. But sometimes some companies irrationally sell off. There's just mass panic around companies that aren't really dead, but people think they're dead. That was the case with Meta. And now since that low of $90.79, now it's at $233. So if you had bought that dip, ooh, baby, that would actually be a real double, okay? Most of you clowns don't actually get doubles with your trash stocks. This is a real double. Of course, Jeremy's taking all the credit, even though Jeremy, who's an absolute incompetent clown, Jeremy Lefebvre, even though he was probably buying Meta in like the high 300s because stocks only go up, he can now take credit because, it went up recently, see over the past month, it's up 13%, see? So we're going to go ahead and look at the earnings. We're going to see why it went up, all right? Now, Meta is a enormous company. A lot of people think it's dead. I'll take this glass. I can't see. How they have the text, it's like hard to see with glasses on. I apologize. But Meta is an enormous company, okay? The amazing growth rates that they were churning out in revenue and profit, that can't last forever. Every company reaches maturity. But Meta's total addressable market is enormous. Basically, if you have a cell phone, you can get on Instagram or Facebook or any of the other family of apps. This is a massive company, and it prints cash. It prints cash. Now, recently, those profits have been going down because of the metaverse. They've been spending a ton of money on the metaverse, basically a virtual world where you can, fluff your boss without having to actually do it and catch a disease. But their profit margins have been going down. But it's still a profitable company, okay? So let's see what could have potentially prompted this. Well, the first thing I see is revenue by revenue actually went up by 3% year over year. For the 3 months ended March 31st, 2023, revenue is up 3%. Costs and expenses are up 10%, with income from operations down 15%. So their profits are still down, but their revenue is up. So if we look at their profit, let's look at their operating profit margin and see what that is, 28,645. Their operating profit margin before interest and taxes is 25%. Now, if we look historically at this company, let's look at operating profit margin. We can see that they had much higher operating profit margins before they really started investing money in the metaverse. I mean, look at that collapse. Okay, these are the margins. That's the margins. They were up almost as high as 60% back in the day in like 2016, 2017. That's insane. Okay, that's a very high operating profit. And now you've seen the profit margin absolutely collapse, and so did the stock price, okay? So while their operating margin has improved massively from the last 2 quarters, up over 5%, they're still not back to their glory days of 43%, 45%, 50%, et cetera, but they're improving, okay? So that's a good thing. Let's look at provision for income taxes, net income. So they had a net profit, even after all this spending on the metaverse. This ginormous company still had a profit. Okay, 50709 divided by 28,645. 20% bottom line profit margin. How does that compare to historically? Let's see. Well, it looks like their profit margin has improved as well over the last 2 quarters at least. Okay. But historically, their profit margin was a lot higher. So for Meta to go back to their heyday of massive, expansive stock growth, they probably need massive revenue growth year over year. They probably need to get their margins back up to where they were before, which is entirely possible. Okay. So overall, they had some revenue growth. It looks like that's good. But at the same time, their profitability still is not where it is before. If you think the stock's going to go back to where it was before, based on these numbers, I think you're mistaken. Okay, that's my personal opinion on that. But still a profitable company. Okay, now here's what a lot of bulls say about Meta, and I tend to agree with them. Meta has a metric F ton of users, number one. And number two, they're still growing their user base. Look at the family of apps, active daily people, 3.02 billion people from March 2023, on average for March 2023, an increase of 5%. 3 billion. You can't even imagine in your head 3 billion. You can't do it. Okay? Sit there and try to think of 3 billion people. You can't do it. Okay? You maybe think of a couple thousand people. 3 billion people. Family monthly active people, 3.8 billion, an increase of 5%. Facebook increasing users, 2 billion users of Facebook. Okay. Monthly active users of Facebook, 2.99, almost 3 billion. So all their user base is increasing. Okay. Let's look at ad impressions. Ad impressions increased by 26%. So we're getting more ads thrown in our face. And the average price per ad decreased by 17%. What do you think is going to happen when the economy eventually gets better and they're increasing ad impressions and they're charging more per ad, or they're starting to increase how much they generate from each ad? It's going to be pretty good. And I've used Facebook advertising. Okay. It's pretty good. It's definitely, if I was to advertise anywhere for a business, it would be on Facebook, 100%. Okay. Because you can reach people so easily with that. Total cost went up obviously because of the metaverse. Capital expenditures were 7.09 billion for the first quarter of 2023. Let's see if we can pull up their capital expenditures. Go to cash flow, go to capital expenditures. So compared to the prior quarters, the prior 2 quarters at least, they've slowed down their capital expenditures basically to where they were in the quarter ended June 30th, 2022. So that's slowed down a little bit, but they're still pretty significant capital expenditures. Share repurchases, they're buying back shares, especially when they were cheap. That's a good thing. Okay. A little bit of long-term debt, and they're decreasing headcount. So overall, this company's doing well. Like obviously it's doing better than people thought it was going to. The people thought this was the end of the world for the company. Facebook's not going to go bankrupt. Okay. That's just not going to happen. If we look at their balance sheet, where's their balance sheet at? Let's see. Could they pay off all their debt? So they have total liabilities of 59 billion, and they have total current assets of, okay, they couldn't pay all their debts off with all their current assets, which they wouldn't be able to do anyway. But they're sitting okay. Like you look at their current assets, they have 52 billion. Current liabilities 25. Okay, they're not going bankrupt, and they're definitely not underwater. They have total assets of 184 billion dollars and total liabilities of 59 billion. They're not going bankrupt. Okay, if we look at their equity section, we can see common stock and additional paid-in capital actually went up. So they've actually looks like they've issued some shares. Interesting. They probably issue and then buy them. They probably have like stock options and then they buy them back. Accumulated other comprehensive loss actually went down. So what that means is that's probably foreign currency. Usually when you have foreign currency gains or losses, some of them get put into accumulated other comprehensive loss. That's what you'll see on the equity section. They don't hit the income statement, but they still hit the balance sheet equity section. And then you have retained earnings, which has gone down as well, which could be from constructive retirement of stock. That's what I'm thinking that is. So overall, their equity slightly went down, but their equity's not collapsing. Okay. So, I mean, you can't hate the company. They're generating positive cash flow from operations. Look like they generated $14 billion over the last 3 months from cash flows from operations. Okay, they have free cash flow. Look at that, 14 billion of operating cash flow minus 6.7 billion, 6.8 billion of PP&E purchases. Look at that. Let's see how much they bought back. Repurchases of Class A common stock, almost $10 billion in 3 months. They bought back almost $10 billion of stock in 3 months. That's pretty freaking insane. Okay, you think the amount of money they're spending? Oh my God. Let's see, what else do they do? Yeah, I mean, not a bad company, okay? But at the end of the day, why don't I buy Meta? Well, I already have all these, I already have so much stock in America. 60% of my portfolio is in America, okay? Meta is a probably decent chunk of the VT, okay? At least 0.5%, 1%, something like that. So overall, you know, this company's not going bankrupt. Is it back to its heyday? No, not even close. Revenues, mass growth has massively slowed down. Costs are massively up. Profits are down massively, but they're still having headcount growth. Ad impressions, that's pretty significant in my opinion. And I think when the economy eventually recovers, I think this company's profits could explode, especially if the metaverse works out. Okay. So that's kind of my thoughts on Meta, my Jetta. Let's do some comments. Let's see. Welcome back, lazy man. Election season probably bode well for Meta stockholders. Oh, yeah, baby. Advertisements. Chess tournament. Winners take tattooed chef shares. I would lose that on purpose. 50% decline in... Why is my screen so small? It's so annoying. It's like I can barely see what you guys are saying. 50% decline in metaverse revenue while burning $4 billion on making avatars that are almost as good as... Honestly, like the thing with the whole metaverse, and I thought this from the beginning, it's like, even if it fails, even with all that cash burn, they're still profitable. So if they just dump that garbage and just go back to their roots, they're going to be doing okay. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, the metaverse so far it's a freaking joke. Okay. It's an absolute joke. I agree with that. Let's see. I can't wait for the election pump. You want to get pumped in the election? Are you still holding JD? I added some JD yesterday, 4-year low. I'm going to neither confirm or deny that. Did I potentially make a speculative investment in JD for fun? I don't know. It's top secret. I don't like giving out stock tips, okay? I've learned that. Oh, the stock didn't go up in 2 days strong, man. You're such a loser. I love Meta. You don't even own the stock, Cole. Be quiet. Let's see. Any more comments? This weekend what? What do you want to do this weekend? Oh, he's uploading a video. I own stocks, 0 stocks personally. I'm here for strongman personal finance personality. I know, here I am in my freaking hotel on government orders trying to entertain you clowns. Let's see. Ben, thanks for reminding me. I'm a customer of Hims. I need to get some. Imagine losing $4 billion a quarter on a segment of your business. But like they're still profitable despite that. That's the crazy thing. Okay. All right. That's my thoughts on the earnings. Maybe I'll do should I do the Tesla BYD video right now? I might do it real quick just to knock it out because I can't do any more YouTube tonight. I got things I got to take care of tonight. Jeremy's acting like he may have made a dumb gamble. Of course not. Of course he's not. Freaking clown. All right, guys. Talk to you later.